Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Football Press Conference sponsored by Moe's. Joining us today at the stand, as always, is going to be head coach Atiba Bradley, and as well as student athletes joining us is going to be tight end Alex Martini and offensive lineman Ryan Schleimer. Joining us first is going to be Atiba Bradley with opening statements.
Good to see you all this afternoon. I'm sure everybody's wondering. The bye week was good. We took some time to really walk back everything we were doing and really just kind of address some fundamentals. The other thing that we did is we spent quite a bit of time with our young guys, our guys, the future guys that will be stepping in. We got them some reps. We got them some action that we could put on film that we could coach off of. And did it for a couple reasons. Obviously, the first part is the developmental part. We want to get them better. We want them to have a better understanding of our scheme. But then the other part is we've got some guys that have played a lot of football. You're going to speak to a couple of them today, older guys. And so they needed the week to kind of get their legs back underneath them, to get a little fresher as we go through these last 2 weeks. It's kind of odd having it so late in the season. I don't think I've ever been a part of one in week 9. I think back to the ones that I've normally had them in week 3, week 4, even as late as like week 5 when I was a GA at Mizzou. But it was good. We got a lot of work done. We were able to couple it with some recruiting for the staff, and so now we're ready to finish the season strong with 2 good opponents.
Kearney comes to town this weekend. It's senior weekend. Lots going on.
Yeah.
How do you, after coming off a bye week with very little going on, go into the blender of senior week, home game, final home game, and Kearney coming to town?
Yeah, it's tough. It's not easy, but I think these guys, they still love football. They still love the opportunity. That's what's kind of neat. Obviously would love to have a better record, but you're really getting to see who loves football, who relishes the opportunity to go out there. Yesterday afternoon, we had thunderstorm warnings and we had a lightning strike, and so we had to delay our practice. And typically when that happens, there's a lot of goofing around in the locker room, which is normal for a bunch of guys 18 to 23. But when we blew the whistle and said, hey, guys, we're going out, those guys locked in. We had a very spirited practice, and I knew, our guys are ready and want to compete.
What do we know about Kearney? What do we expect to see from them?
Yeah, they're stingy on defense. They've played everybody really, really well. They've got a really good D-line that's hard to move around. We're going to have to be creative in how we run the ball and protect the quarterback this week. Offensively, they're creative in a different way. Reagan Jones is the quarterback. He's a transfer from Mo West, kind of a dual threat guy. One of those guys that drops back. If he doesn't like the picture, he's going to take off and get some extra yards. I think he's their second leading rusher right now. And so it'll be a challenge to kind of keep him in the pocket. But they're a good football team. They've beaten some good teams, and the teams they've lost to have been battles that have gone all the way to the fourth quarter. So we'll have our hands full.
You mentioned some of the younger guys during the bye week. Do you plan on playing more younger guys these next 2 weeks of the season?
Yeah, we've kind of had to play some of these guys by necessity through injuries, through a little bit of attrition, and so they've gotten some playing time, but they were guys that we didn't necessarily think were going to play in fall camp. So they didn't necessarily get as much of the foundation as some of the other guys have, and so we wanted to kind of go back and give them that foundation. And yes, some of those guys will play these last 2 weeks.
Obviously, going against Nebraska Kearney, a really talented team. What do you really need to do to cap off, the final home game and to get yourselves a win on your home field?
Yeah, it goes back to really the things that have bothered us this year. Doing a better job of reducing the amount of explosives when we're on defense, making people earn the entire length of the field, and then offensively maintaining drives and then finishing drives. This is a team that we got to be kicking field goals and scoring touchdowns. And when you face a really good defense like we're going to face, you got to make sure every time you have an opportunity to score, you take advantage of it.
Coach, coming off the bye week, just talking about availability for some guys, how are you guys looking so far right now as far as injuries?
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the injuries we sustained this year aren't ones that come back with the time that's allotted in a season. We do anticipate Deontay coming back, but we've had that same sentiment the past couple weeks, and we've just not quite ready. But I hope that he's able to come back, and then other than that, he'd be the one that's the closest to coming back.
With it being senior day on Saturday, just talk about what this senior class has meant to you over the past few years.
Yeah, I won't call him out by name, but Rai is. You'll hear from him in a little bit. He's one of my favorites. This is a selfless group. Him especially. You think about a guy that came in when I got here as a D lineman, and he gained some weight, and we moved him over to the offensive side. He never complained. We have a little running joke between the two of us. I've tried to cut him 7 times, and he just won't leave. He just keeps showing up. But it's a testament to him, and he's not the only one. Kenny Furman. That group is really special. They were here at the very beginning, and they're the guys that have stuck it out. Those guys that have done everything that we've asked, and we haven't finished up the way that I want it for them, but just super proud of that group.
Speaking to the young guys, what have you seen from them the past few weeks where you guys as a coaching staff know they're ready to take on those bigger roles?
Yeah, I think really it's not been the past. I mean, a lot of the work that we've done in the summer and off season, these guys have watched the older guys work, and so I know they're going to continue and carry the torch that way. And a lot of it was some of the guys that are playing that are younger guys. Not that they're not ready to carry the torch physically; they're just not ready to carry the torch. It's a little heavy right now. The burden is heavy, and so no, I'm encouraged with where we're at, and I know we will get some of the guys back that we missed this year, and next year we'll be a year older and a year wiser.
Coach, how are you?
I'm doing well. Good to see you.
Good to
Missed
see
you
you
on
too.
Sunday.
Oh yeah, I missed you too.
I did my own show at my house with my kids, so it's fine.
Yeah. So with that being the bye week, I mean, I know a lot of guys, as you had talked about earlier, opportunity to get some of them kind of back in the rhythm of things. But with how things went against Hayes, how crucial is it to kind of have that extra week in there to really kind of get rehabilitated, get strengthened a little bit before you go into Kearney on Saturday? Yeah,
this is you guys have seen it. If you come to games, if you watch the MIAA, it's a physical league. It's a league that takes a toll on you week in and week out. And so to be able to take a week and give the guys that take the majority of the reps a little bit of rest is huge, especially when you're talking about some guys that have been in college football for 3, 4, 5 years. Their bodies are sore, and you can't get all the way back. I joke with guys like you'll never feel like you did when you were 18, and that's real. But having that week off, we can get them closer, more like 19 or 20 type deal.
Almost there, right?
Almost there. Not
there.
Quite though.
You look at UNK's kind of offense and how they run things a little bit. How can they give you guys fits, and then what's kind of the game plan for making those adjustments?
Yeah, the fits I think will come from the improv. Some of what they do, some of their stats are from a broken play, and then the quarterback just makes something happen. And so those are the hardest plays to prepare for because they're not scripted. This isn't something that they run. It's just you got a quarterback that's played in the MIAA for 5 years now, and he knows how to keep plays alive and find alternate options.
With the crowd kind of being on hand for this one here, obviously a lot of significance with this big game. I kind of asked a little bit earlier about what it means to the seniors, what it means to them and their families, but you can kind of touch up on how you've seen these kids grow to this point. I mean, it's been a long season. You have a late bye week, but how have you seen these kids grow and the lessons they've learned to take it into this Saturday?
Really, the growth has been in the way that they've been able to adapt. If you were to look at our preseason 2 deep, it looks quite a bit different than what's the actual 2 deep that we've played with this year. And to credit to our older guys, they've really been the ones who've adjusted what they do and how they do it to try to alleviate some of the stress of the guys that we're missing. And so, again, it hasn't necessarily been growth, but just the adapting. That's been the huge part. I think about some of our new coaches that have joined the staff and how the older guys have kind of helped the new coaches adapt to what we're doing. And so super proud of our guys and the fight and the continued effort, and they just continue to do it the right way, even though the results aren't what any of us wanted.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah. Absolutely. Appreciate it.
I'm Ryan Schleimer. I am a offensive lineman. I'm a marketing and management major, and I'm a redshirt junior.
Talk about the offensive line room and that group of guys. Obviously, you've had battled injuries, had to rotate a bunch of different guys in. Talk about what that room is like and the camaraderie there.
I feel like the O-line room being one of our older rooms, we kind of have a lot to play for. We like playing for each other. We have had a lot of injuries, a lot of rotation, and I think that we've done a good job at whoever steps up. There hasn't really been much of a drop-off, and we've been able to keep the same standards that we've had from the start.
When you started as a defensive lineman, moved over to the offensive side, talk about the difference in what that is like, because it's a totally different mindset.
Yeah, that was different. When I first got moved to O-line, I think there was about a semester where it felt like I didn't even know how to play football anymore. It was a huge skill change, a lot to learn, but I was open to it, and I'm happy with how it worked out.
Coming in the last few weeks of the season, what are some of the things you guys worked on the bye week, and what do you feel confident going into this next game?
I think the bye week was big for us because we had a lot of things that we needed to figure out as a team that didn't have anything to do with our competition, who we were playing. So it was nice to be able to step back and fix some skill problems, just things like that, and work on those, and just have a good feeling going into this next week.
Coming into against Kearney, what's something that you guys feel confident on that you can work a game plan against them?
Well, I mean, you turn on the film, you could see their defense that's flying around. They love making plays, but that's also something that sometimes you could take advantage of. A backer might get too excited, fill a hole too quickly, and you just got to take those chances to make big plays.
Talking about Kearney's defensive line, what have you guys seen on film from them so far that as an offensive line you guys are going to have to really lock in on?
They play hard, so we know we're going to have to come out from the start and match that, or do our best to match it, hopefully exceed it. But we know from the start it's going to be fast-paced. They're going to be playing hard. They're going to bring it.
Final home game of the season, senior day, a lot of people, a lot of emotions for you guys. How key is it going to be for the offensive line to go out there and set a tone early and get momentum on your guys' side?
I think it'll be big. I think if the O-line could go out there early and move bodies, play hard, keep the energy high, it'll be a great thing for the team.
Obviously, different skills positions have had some injuries in the offensive side. Even though not at the offensive line, how have you guys as older guys had to act as leaders for some of those younger guys that are having to step in at the wide receiver and running back positions?
I think just all of us letting them know that, like, we trust them. We know that they're going to get done what they got to get done, and that we're going to do everything we can for them has been huge, because those guys have stepped up and they've done a great job.
Having a week like this to where you can kind of, again, get recuperated, get ready to go, and get ready to rock and roll, how important and crucial is that to your locker room right now?
I feel like it was huge. I feel like obviously coming off a loss that didn't feel too great, it was nice to step back and gather ourselves and just have essentially 2 weeks to figure out what we need to do to win a game this Saturday.
And with that being said, and with that being Kearney, I mean, how does that affect the game plan a little bit, knowing that you guys are going to be rested a little bit more, you're not as sore, and they're kind of coming off what they're coming off of?
I think we'll probably have a lot of guys coming out there with a little more confidence, knowing their body's not hurting as much or they feel an extra step quicker, just things like that.
And what do they do well? What are some challenges they present?
Like I said, they just play hard. You could tell from watching the film, they love playing football. All of the guys on the defense love making plays, and that's going to be the challenge of this week.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alex Martini. I am a senior tight end, and I'm studying business management.
Just like I asked, what's that tight end room like? You've got a bunch of older guys in that room, a lot of experience in that room. Talk about what that room is like and the role that you all carry on the team.
I feel like it's one of the older groups, just like the O-line as well. We got a big role on the field with how our offense scheme works and stuff like that. And the tight end room has been through a lot. I mean, we lost 4 or 5 guys throughout the season, so it's gotten a lot smaller, and I think we've gotten a lot closer as well.
You've been a big target over these last few games, made some big catches down the middle of the field where you're taking some big hits. And, gosh, it's just, for you, it's got to be exciting to be a big part of the game plan.
Oh, it definitely is. It's something that I've been looking for the whole season, and I don't really care if I'm getting the ball as long as the offense is moving. I'm happy.
Talk about how important the offensive line and the tight ends are to these young running backs as far as, we're talking freshmen, redshirt freshmen, guys who don't have a lot of time on the field, who've been thrown into a tough situation, and what you all do to help them be successful.
Well, we basically all got to kind of move as one in the room, even though we all got 3 different coaches. We all got to be on the same page when we're communicating on the field and know what we're doing and know everybody's job.
How have you used kind of the bye week to your advantage coming in the last 2 weeks of the season?
It's been a good week to kind of step back for the starters and relax everybody. Like Bradley said, the young guys are getting a bunch of good reps, and we've been working on the fundamentals as well, so it's been pretty good overall.
What's something against Nebraska Kearney that you've seen that you guys think that you can use for an advantage for this Saturday?
We really gotta set the tone up front in the trenches. That's where every game is going to be won or lost, and we got to make sure we're on them for all 4 quarters, or it's going to get out of hand.
Being a senior, you went to Central Missouri for a few years, came back. Being a guy from Carthage right up the street, just kind of talk about what senior day is going to mean for you on Saturday.
It's going to mean a lot, especially like you said, I'm right from down the street, so I'm going to have some family here, I'm just hopefully the team's going to be ready to go out there and play.
Talking about Kearney's defense, just talking about their secondary and their linebackers, what can they pose? What kind of threat can they pose to you guys as an offense?
Yeah, they got some big linebackers. They're pretty strong. They'll just try to basically reroute us in the passing game, and then they got a corner, number 10. He has 4 picks. He'll be pretty good. He'll be looking at the quarterback all day. We got to make sure we know where those guys are at and take advantage of them.
And then what's it going to take for the offense to have success, for the ground game to find success, and for Luke to sit back there and find success downfield?
We got to come together, the whole day. We got to get the ball moving in the run game, and then once that happens, deep shot's going to open up down the field. We can start throwing the ball more.
You, Hurl, and so many others have done a really good job stepping up for Deontay and any injuries that have faced the tight end room so far. And with that being said, and with the amount of setbacks that have taken place with regards to injuries, how crucial was this week to you to kind of get everybody healthy again and get everybody back on the right track?
Very crucial. We're looking to be as healthy as we can. Get out there and have the offense at full power pretty much and show what we can do.
Having the big bodies out there, very key to obviously going up against the Kearney defense. What do they do well, and what are some things that are going to be challenging for you?
That D-line, their front's going to be tough. They got a pretty big guy up front. They got 2 of them, actually, and they got a pretty good defensive end. He leads the MIAA in sacks and tackle for losses, so it's going to be a pretty good challenge.
Going through what you guys have this year, what's the biggest takeaway that you guys have gotten, and then what's the biggest, I would say, positive that you guys have learned from
I would say the biggest takeaway as an offense and as a team is that when we really want to play together, we can, and we show that. But it's just consistency, is the biggest struggle. But we have flashes of positive things, we just got to take advantage of that all the time. Thank you.